The hydraulic lift on the access bus hisses and groans, lowering me to the cracked sidewalk outside Lincoln Park at exactly 3:47 p.m. I've taken this route 5 days a week for 8 months now, and I know every pothole, every broken curb cut, every stretch of sidewalk where tree roots have created obstacles that able-bodied people never notice. My wheelchair, a sleek titanium manual chair that cost more than I'll make in 6 months, rolls smoothly once I'm on level ground. I navigate around a collection of pigeons fighting over scattered breadcrumbs, my hands moving with practiced efficiency on the wheels.
2 years in this chair has taught me that speed and momentum are everything. Hesitation gets you stuck. The park spreads before me in autumn glory.
Oak trees dropping leaves in shades of rust and gold, families scattered across the grass enjoying the last warmth before Chicago winter arrives with its teeth bared. I head toward my usual spot near the fountain, a concrete bench with enough space beside it for my chair and a clear view of the playground equipment 50 yards away. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow, I've saved something extra special for you.
This is my office now.
Not the sterile professionalism of the Chicago PD crime scene unit where I spent 6 years documenting death in meticulous detail. Not the photographer's studio I dreamed of opening someday. Just a park bench and a laptop, freelancing for insurance companies who need photographic evidence of accident scenes and property damage. The pay is terrible, the work uninspiring, but it's what I can manage with my current limitations. I pull out my laptop, balancing it on the wheelchair's lap desk, and open the folder of photos from yesterday's assignment. A slip and fall case at a grocery store. Wet floor, no warning sign, fractured hip. I enhance the images, adjust exposure, document every relevant detail with the same precision I used to apply to homicide scenes. The difference is that nobody died here. Just someone else whose body betrayed them, whose life got derailed by circumstances beyond their control.
I understand that intimately. My phone buzzes. Text from my landlord. Rent was due yesterday.
Need payment by end of week or we discuss other arrangements. $1,800. I have $1,100 in my checking account. The insurance company won't pay me for another 10 days. Medical bills from last month's pressure sore treatment took the buffer I'd carefully saved. I'm running calculations in my head. Which bill can I delay? Which payment can I split? When movement in my peripheral vision catches my attention. Years of crime scene work trained me to see patterns in chaos, to notice the details that don't belong. And right now, something doesn't belong. The little girl on the swings. Maybe 7 years old, dark hair in careful braids, wearing a private school uniform that costs more than my monthly rent. She's been here for 20 minutes, swinging alone while her nanny, I assume it's her nanny based on the professional distance, sits on a nearby bench scrolling through her phone.
But there's a man.
Mid-30s, athletic build, wearing running clothes that are too new, too pristine. He's been circling the playground for the past 5 minutes, always maintaining the same distance from the girl. Never getting closer, but never moving away either. His pattern is too deliberate, too focused. I watch him through the viewfinder of my camera, using the zoom lens to study his face. He's not watching the girl with predatory intent. I've seen enough predators to recognize that particular attention.
This is different. Professional.
He's tracking her movements, noting patterns, checking his watch against her behavior. Surveillance.
My pulse kicks up.
I capture 3 photos in rapid succession, documenting his position relative to the girl. Then I notice the second man. This one's in casual business clothes, standing near the park entrance, partially obscured by an oak tree.
He's wearing an earpiece.
They are working together. I glance at the nanny, who's still absorbed in her phone, oblivious. The little girl pumps her legs, sending the swing higher, laughing with pure unself-conscious joy. She has no idea she's being watched by professionals.
The question is what to do about it. Call the police?
Tell them what? That 2 men are standing in a public park? That I have a feeling based on observation patterns and body language? I spent 6 years working with CPD. I know exactly how that call would go, especially coming from someone they'd consider a former colleague who couldn't hack it after her accident. The decision is made for me when a black SUV pulls up to the curb. Expensive, bulletproof glass based on the thickness I can see from this angle Illinois plates, but the registration looks commercial.
The rear door opens and a man steps out. Augustin Moller.
I don't know his name yet, but I know power when I see it. Everything about him radiates control, the tailored charcoal suit that moves like liquid, the economical grace of his movements, the way the air seems to shift in acknowledgement of his presence. His tall, maybe 6'2", with dark hair silvered at the temples and the kind of face that belongs on Roman coins. Sharp, aristocratic, utterly confident. Two men emerge from the front of the SUV, flanking him with practiced precision.
Security. Professional grade. He's here for the girl.
The child sees him and her face transforms with uncomplicated joy. Papa. She launches herself off the swing mid-arc, hitting the ground running, backpack bouncing against her shoulders. The nanny looks up, startled, scrambling to collect her things. And the two surveillance men shift position, converging with purpose that makes my stomach drop. I don't think. I just move. My wheelchair flies across the grass, hands working the wheels with force that makes my shoulders burn. The chair's not designed for this terrain. Grass and dirt create resistance that able-bodied people never consider, but I've learned to read ground conditions, to use momentum and angle to overcome obstacles. Wait. My voice cuts across the space between us, loud enough to carry, sharp enough to demand attention. Mr. Muller, wait. He turns, his dark eyes finding me with laser focus. The two security men shift immediately, positioning themselves between their boss and me. The threat assessment is obvious in their stances. I'm in a wheelchair, clearly not a physical danger, but protocols exist for a reason. I'm 20 feet away when I stop, breathing hard from the exertion. The little girl has reached her father, wrapping her arms around his waist. He touches her head gently, affectionately, but his attention is locked on me. Your daughter.
I force the words out between breaths. She's being followed. Two men.
One in running clothes near the fountain, one in business casual by the oak tree at the entrance. They've been tracking her movements for the past 8 minutes. Professional surveillance. Augustine's expression doesn't change, but something shifts in his eyes. Ice crystallizing. His hand moves to his daughter's shoulder, pulling her slightly behind him. One of the security men speaks into his wrist, low and urgent.
Who are you?
Augustine's voice is cultured, accentless, cold enough to freeze blood. Someone who pays attention. I meet his gaze directly, refusing to be intimidated. The runner has been maintaining exactly 40 feet of distance, circling every 90 seconds.
He checked his watch 3 times in 2 minutes.
The man by the tree has an earpiece and has been mirroring the runner's movements. They are coordinating. Papa. The little girl's voice is small, confused. What's happening? Nothing, Carino. Stay close to me.
His attention hasn't left my face.
You could be mistaken.
Paranoid. Or working with them.
I could be. I pull out my camera, navigate to the photos I took. Or you could look at these and decide for yourself. One of the security men moves forward, hand extended for the camera. I give it to him, watching as he reviews the images. His expression tightens fractionally before he turns the camera toward Augustine. Augustine looks at the screen. 1 photo.
2. 3. His jaw sets like concrete. Leo.
The name is barely above a whisper, but the security man responds immediately.
On it.
Leo speaks into his wrist, giving rapid instructions in Spanish.
Subjects identified.
Moving to intercept.
The runner realizes something's wrong.
I see the moment he understands has been made. His posture changes, weight shifting from casual observer to flight preparation. He turns and walks away quickly, not quite running but close. The man by the tree melts into the crowd with professional efficiency. Augustine crouches in front of his daughter, hands on her shoulders. Sophia, I need you to get in the car with Miguel right now.
Lock the doors. Don't open them for anyone except me.
Understand. But Papa. Now, am I amor? The second security man, Miguel, guides Sophia toward the SUV. The child looks back at me, her eyes wide with confusion and something that might be fear. I offer her a small smile, trying to project calm I don't feel. Augustine straightens to his full height, and the weight of his attention returns to me. What's your name? Violet Lopez. Violet Lopez. He says it slowly, testing each syllable. You just identified a surveillance team targeting my daughter.
In a public park. From a bench 50 yards away.
That level of observation is either highly trained or highly paranoid. Former crime scene photographer. Chicago PD, 6 years documenting details other people miss. I don't mention the accident, the drunk driver who ran a red light, the 3 surgeries, the permanent nerve damage.
He doesn't need my tragedy. Just my credibility.
Former. Career change.
I leave it at that.
Leo returns, his expression grim.
They scattered.
Professional extraction. We're reviewing park security footage, but they knew camera positions. Augustine's hands flex once, the only external sign of anger. Volkovs.
Most likely.
Leo glances at me, clearly uncomfortable discussing this in front of a civilian. The Russian family that's been pushing into the south side.
Augustine isn't asking. He's confirming.
When Leo nods, something dangerous settles into Augustine's features. They are escalating. I should leave. Should roll my chair back to my bench, collect my laptop, and pretend I never saw anything. This is organized crime business, the kind of thing that gets civilians killed for knowing too much. But Sophia's face keeps flashing in my mind. 7 years old, laughing on a swing, completely unaware that men were watching her, calculating her patterns, planning something I don't want to imagine. They'll try again.
The words escape before I can stop them.
If they are professionals, they are patient. They'll adapt their approach, change their timing, wait for a moment when your security isn't as tight.
Augustine studies me with unnerving intensity.
You sound certain. I photographed kidnapping scenes. 3 of them. They all started with surveillance. Establishing patterns, identifying vulnerabilities. I meet his gaze. Your daughter's pattern is predictable. Same park, same time, same nanny. That makes her a target. The nanny is trained, Leo interjects defensively. Former military police. She was on her phone for 8 straight minutes while I catch myself before saying your boss's daughter, while Sophia was 40 feet away. No offense, but training doesn't mean vigilance. Leo's jaw tightens, but he doesn't argue because I'm right and he knows it. Augustine pulls out his phone, makes a call.
Marcus.
I need a full security audit on Sophia's routines. School, activities, transportation, everything. And I need it yesterday.
He pauses, listening.
Because the Volkovs just ran surveillance on her in Lincoln Park and I want to know how many other gaps we have.
He ends the call and returns his attention to me.
The cold assessment in his eyes should terrify me. Instead, I feel strange recognition, like his seeing past the wheelchair, past the obvious vulnerability, to the person who still exists beneath the limitations.
You live nearby? He asks.
3 blocks north.
Why?
Because you just identified a threat to my daughter that my entire security apparatus missed.
That makes you valuable. He gestures to Leo. Give her your card.
Direct line. Leo produces a business card, handing it to me. The paper stock is expensive, embossed. Just a phone number and the name Leo Ruiz. If you see anything else suspicious, Augustine continues, anything involving Sophia or anyone watching her, you call that number immediately. Day or night. I look at the card, then at him. I'm not looking for payment or. I'm not offering payment.
His voice cuts through my protest.
I'm establishing a line of communication with someone who has proven they notice what others miss. Consider it civic duty if that makes you more comfortable.
The SUV's horn taps twice.
Sophia's face is pressed against the tinted window, watching us. Augustine moves toward the vehicle, then pauses.
Thank you, Miss Lopez.
For caring enough to act when you could have ignored it. Then he's in the SUV and they are pulling away, leaving me alone in the park with a business card and the growing certainty that I just complicated my life in ways I don't fully understand yet. I return to my bench, laptop still waiting where I left it. The insurance photos are still on the screen, still needing editing, still representing the boring safety of my diminished life. I tuck Leo's card into my wallet and try to convince myself that this was a one-time thing. That I'll never need to call that number. That Augustine Moller and his daughter and whatever dangerous world they inhabit will remain separate from my own. But my hands are shaking as I try to return to work, and I can still see Sophia's face in the SUV window, watching me like I was something worth remembering. The coffee shop on Wells Street has exactly 3 things going for it: free Wi-Fi, electrical outlets within reach of the accessible seating, and management that doesn't care if you nurse a single coffee for 4 hours while working. It's not close to my apartment, but the bus route is reliable and the bathroom is actually wheelchair accessible, which in Chicago is rarer than you'd think. I'm editing photos from this morning's job, a warehouse fire, insurance fraud investigation, when someone sits at the table across from me. Not beside me, not at a neighboring table, but directly in my line of sight where ignoring them becomes impossible.
Leo Ruiz. He looks different in daylight streaming through coffee shop windows.
Less security professional, more dangerous professional wearing business casual. Dark slacks, black polo, the kind of understated appearance that helps you blend in anywhere. But his eyes are alert, scanning the space constantly, noting exits and sight lines with automatic precision.
Miss Lopez.
His voice is quiet, meant only for me despite the crowded shop. We need to talk. My stomach tightens. How did you find me? You gave Mr. Muller your name. The rest was basic research. He doesn't apologize for the invasion of privacy. You worked for Chicago PD crime scene unit for 6 years.
Exemplary record. 43 commendations.
Then 2 years ago, a drunk driver ran a red light at the intersection of Clark and Diversey.
You were crossing legally.
Impact velocity was estimated at 4 to 5 miles per hour. 3 surgeries, permanent spinal cord injury at L1, wheelchair dependent. The clinical recitation of my trauma makes my jaw clench. You've been thorough. I protect a 7-year-old girl. Thorough is the minimum requirement.
Leo leans forward slightly.
The surveillance team from yesterday?
We identified them.
Volkov soldiers, experienced operators. They've been tracking Sophia's movements for at least 2 weeks based on the equipment we found in one of their vehicles.
My hand's still on the keyboard.
You found their vehicle?
The runner made a mistake. Used his real car instead of a rental.
We located it, searched it, found surveillance photos. Leo pulls out his phone, shows me images that make my blood run cold.
Sophia at school. Sophia at ballet class.
Sophia in this exact park on different days, at different times. Dozens of photos, all taken with telephoto lenses from positions that should have been secure. Jesus.
The word comes out hollow. Mr. Muller would like to meet with you. Privately.
Today if possible. Leo pockets his phone. He has a proposition. What kind of proposition? The kind best discussed in a secure location rather than a public coffee shop.
Leo's eyes flick to someone walking past our table. You have questions. He has answers. All I'm asking is that you hear him out.
Every instinct screams that getting deeper into Augustin Muller's world is a catastrophically bad idea. I'm barely keeping my head above water financially and emotionally. The last thing I need is to entangle myself with organized crime, because that's clearly what this is. Men don't have professional security details and rival families targeting their children unless they're involved in things that exist outside legal boundaries. But I keep seeing Sophia's face. Keep thinking about those surveillance photos, the professional patience of predators circling a child.
When? I hear myself ask. Now, if you're available. Or tonight.
Your schedule, your choice. Leo stands, pulling out another card.
This one has an address in Gold Coast.
He'll be waiting. He leaves before I can refuse, moving through the crowded coffee shop with efficient grace. I stare at the card for a long time, weighing options that all feel dangerous in different ways. My laptop screen has gone dark. The coffee shop continues its afternoon rhythm around me. Outside, Chicago moves through its November afternoon, cold wind promising winter's approach. I pack my equipment slowly, methodically, the same way I used to process crime scenes.
One step at a time. One decision at a time. Trying to convince myself I still have control over where this leads.
The address on the card is a high-rise in Gold Coast. The kind of building where doormen wear uniforms and residents pay more monthly than most people earn in a year. The lobby is all marble and glass, designed to intimidate anyone who doesn't belong. The doorman sees me rolling through the entrance and his professional mask cracks slightly.
Wheelchair users aren't common in buildings like this.
I'm here to see Augustin Muller.
I hand him Leo's card.
Violet Lopez. He studies the card, makes a phone call, then nods toward the elevators.
Penthouse.
He's expecting you. The elevator is blessedly spacious, designed to accommodate more than just my chair. I ride alone to the 42nd floor, watching the numbers climb while my heart rate keeps pace.
The doors open directly into an apartment that defies the word.
This is a residence, expansive and carefully curated. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcase the Chicago skyline. Furniture that looks artistic and somehow still comfortable.
Original artwork that might be museum quality.
Everything speaks of wealth managed with taste rather than displayed with ostentation. Augustin stands at the window, hands clasped behind his back, silhouetted against the city. He turns when the elevator announces my arrival. Miss Lopez. Thank you for coming. He moves toward me, stopping at a respectful distance. Would you like something to drink? Coffee, water, wine. Water, please. He gestures and a woman appears from another room, housekeeper or assistant, efficient and professional. She returns moments later with sparkling water in crystal, placing it on the table beside a leather chair that's clearly been positioned with wheelchair access in mind. Someone did their homework about accommodations. I transfer to the chair, appreciating the effort even as I resent needing it. Augustin sits across from me, posture relaxed but attention focused entirely on me. I want to hire you, he says without preamble.
Full-time. Exclusive contract.
Your job would be to observe Sophia's environments, identify potential threats, and report anything suspicious. You'd work independently, establish your own schedule, maintain your own methods. I'm not looking for traditional security. I'm looking for what you provided yesterday, intelligence that comes from genuine observation rather than protocol. The offer lands like a physical blow. You want me to surveil your daughter. I want you to protect her by seeing what others miss.
Augustin leans forward slightly.
My security team is excellent at their jobs. But they are trained to look for specific threats, weapons, aggressive behavior, known enemies.
You saw a pattern.
You notice behavior that didn't fit. That's not something I can train into people. That's instinct built on years of reading scenes.
I photograph insurance fraud now. I'm not.
You're wasted photographing insurance fraud. The interruption is gentle but firm.
Your skill set is exceptional, Miss Lopez.
And right now, I need exceptional because my daughter's life depends on it. The words hang heavy between us. I can't physically protect her, I say quietly, hating the admission. If something happens, if someone tries to grab her, I'm useless. I can't run, can't fight, can't. You can see.
Augustin's dark eyes hold mine. You can warn.
You can provide intelligence that lets my people prevent situations before they become physical threats. That's worth more than another body in tactical gear. How much are you offering?
$10,000 per month.
Plus medical insurance, full coverage including all your ongoing care. Plus housing if you want to relocate closer to Sophia's usual locations. Plus equipment budget for any technology you need.
The numbers make my vision blur.
$10,000 monthly. That's more than I made at CPD.
More than I've made since the accident combined.
That's too much. That's what preventing my daughter's kidnapping or murder is worth to me. No inflation in his voice.
Just cold assessment.
The Volkovs are serious about their expansion. Targeting Sophia is their way of sending a message. I need every advantage I can get, and you are an advantage, Miss Lopez. I should refuse. Should recognize this as the dangerous entanglement it obviously is. Should maintain the small, safe, limited life I've built from the wreckage of my old one. But $10,000 monthly means I can pay rent with room to spare. Means I can afford the physical therapy I've been skipping. Means I can stop calculating which bills to pay and which to delay.
Means I matter again. Contribute again.
Use skills that were rotting in the mundane documentation of slip and fall cases. What exactly would my role be? I hear myself asking, the question and admission that I'm considering this insanity. You continue your life as normal, Augustin explains. But you position yourself where Sophia will be, parks, school pickup areas, public spaces she frequents. You observe. You document. If you see anything suspicious, you report immediately. Think of it as providing an extra layer of intelligence gathering that my formal security can't replicate. Because I don't look like security. Because you notice what security misses.
He stands, moving to a desk and returning with a tablet. This is Sophia's schedule. Updated in real time.
You'd have access to know where she'll be so you can position yourself appropriately.
I take the tablet, scanning the detailed schedule. Ballet on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Piano on Wednesdays.
School days at Lincoln Academy, a private institution in Lincoln Park.
Weekend visits to her grandmother.
It's comprehensive and exposed, every movement documented, every pattern established. This is too much information to give someone you just met.
You're right.
Which is why Leo has been vetting you for the past 18 hours.
Augustin doesn't apologize for the invasion. You have no criminal record. No suspicious associations.
No debt beyond medical bills and standard living expenses. No indicators of vulnerability to bribery or coercion. You're exactly what you appear to be, someone who noticed a threat and chose to act.
The thoroughness should anger me. Instead, I understand it. This is his daughter. His world. He doesn't have the luxury of trusting blindly. I need to think about it. Of course. Take 24 hours. If you decline, there's no hard feelings.
If you accept, we'll formalize the contract immediately.
He pulls out yet another card, this one with his personal number.
Call me directly when you decide.
I pocket the card, transferring back to my wheelchair.
Can I ask you something? Yes. What do you do? What business are you in that has rival families targeting your child?
Augustine's expression doesn't change, but something shudders behind his eyes. Import-export. International trade. Business that sometimes conflicts with other families' business interests. I won't lie to you, Miss Lopez. My world is complicated and occasionally dangerous. But I keep that world separate from Sophia as much as possible.
She deserves normalcy despite her father's complications.
It's not really an answer, but it's honest enough that I don't press further.
The elevator ride down feels longer than the ride up. My mind churns through implications and consequences, trying to calculate risks I can't fully measure. Outside, November cold bites through my jacket. I navigate the sidewalk toward the bus stop, hands working automatically while my thoughts spiral.
10,000 monthly. Medical coverage. Purpose again. But also entanglement with organized crime. Proximity to danger. The knowledge that if I accept this job, I'm crossing a line that can't be uncrossed. My phone buzzes. Text from my landlord. Final notice. Payment by Friday or eviction proceedings begin Monday. Friday is 3 days away. I have $1,100. Rent is $1,800. The universe has a cruel sense of timing. I stare at Augustine's card, at the number that represents both salvation and potential destruction. Then I call. He answers on the second ring. Miss Lopez. I'll do it, I say before courage fails. I'll take the job. Good. Satisfaction in that single word. Be at Sophia's school tomorrow morning. 7:45. Observe drop-off.
Report anything unusual.
I will. And Miss Lopez? Thank you. For caring about a little girl you don't even know. He ends the call before I can respond. I sit at the bus stop, cold wind cutting through my jacket, watching cars pass in endless streams. Somewhere in this city, men are planning something terrible. And somehow, impossibly, I've just agreed to try to stop them. The paralyzed crime scene photographer and the Mafia boss's daughter. The universe definitely has a cruel sense of humor. Lincoln Academy sits behind wrought iron gates that cost more than most houses. The building itself is turn-of-the-century architecture restored to pristine condition, red brick, white columns, manicured grounds that could grace a postcard. Parents arrive in vehicles that represent the upper echelon of Chicago wealth, Tesla Model XS, Mercedes G-Wagons, the occasional Bentley. I position my wheelchair across the street in a coffee shop parking lot with a clear sightline to the school entrance. 7:30 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, November cold seeping through my jacket despite the layers. My camera rests in my lap, telephoto lens already attached, looking professional enough that casual observers assume I'm working some legitimate assignment. Which, technically, I am. The contract Augustine's lawyer delivered yesterday afternoon is legitimate enough: consulting services, threat assessment, independent contractor status. $10,000 deposited into my account this morning, medical insurance activated immediately, equipment budget already transferred. I paid my landlord. The relief of that simple transaction nearly brought me to tears. Now I'm watching a school entrance, looking for patterns that don't belong, threats that hide in plain sight among the wealth and privilege. The black SUV arrives at 7:43. Same vehicle from the park, same driver. Miguel exits first, scanning the area with professional thoroughness before opening the rear door. Sophia emerges in her school uniform, navy jumper, white blouse, backpack covered in butterfly pins. She looks so small against Miguel's bulk, so vulnerable in her innocent oblivion. Then she sees me. Her face lights up with recognition. She points in my direction, saying something to Miguel that I can't hear from this distance. Miguel's gaze finds me across the street, and he speaks into his wrist. Reporting my presence. Confirming I'm where I'm supposed to be. Sophia waves. An enthusiastic, unself-conscious gesture that makes something crack in my chest. I wave back, feeling absurd and touched in equal measure. They disappear through the gates. Other children flow around them, parents chatting with the ease of people who've known each other through country clubs and charity galas. This is a world I've never inhabited,
Wealth so casual it doesn't need to announce itself. I watch for another 30 minutes, documenting vehicles, faces, patterns. A white van that parks too long 2 blocks down, delivers flowers to a house, legitimate. A man in a suit who stands on the corner smoking, lights a cigarette, checks his phone, walks away toward the train station, routine commute. A woman with a camera, professional photographer taking architectural photos of the historic buildings, portfolio work visible on her camera screen when she turns my direction. Nothing that triggers alarm. Nothing that feels wrong. I'm about to leave when my phone buzzes. Text from an unknown number, north side of building. Gray sedan. 2 occupants. Been there since 7:15. I zoom my camera, scanning the north side of the school grounds. They're partially obscured by a delivery truck but visible if you know where to look. Gray Honda Accord, 2 men in the front seats. They are not doing anything obvious, just sitting. But they've been there 30 minutes in a loading zone where parking is explicitly prohibited. I capture 3 photos, send them to Leo's number with a brief message. Possible surveillance. North side loading zone. Honda Accord, gray Illinois plates. The response comes within seconds. Stay on site. Do not approach. 15 minutes pass. The gray sedan hasn't moved. The men inside haven't exited. They are just watching the school with patient attention that makes my instincts scream. A Chicago police cruiser pulls up behind the Honda. Routine traffic stop, except I recognize the deliberate positioning. The officers approach with practiced caution, hands near their weapons but not threatening. The conversation appears civil, license and registration requested and provided. Then both men from the Honda are asked to step out of the vehicle. I document everything through my camera lens. The search of the vehicle, consensual based on the body language. Something found in the trunk that makes one officer speak urgently into his radio. Both men placed in handcuffs with surprising speed. My phone rings. Augustine's voice, calm and controlled. You saw them. Gray Honda. 2 men. They've been there since before Sophia arrived. Volkov soldiers. Junior level, sent to confirm her schedule. There's satisfaction in his voice beneath the ice. The police found an unlicensed firearm and surveillance equipment. They'll be detained for at least 72 hours, questioned extensively. The Volkovs just lost 2 assets because you were paying attention. How did you? I catch myself. You have people in the Chicago PD. I have resources that allow me to respond quickly when my daughter's safety is threatened. Not quite an admission, not quite a denial. You did well, Miss Lopez. Stay for another hour, then you can leave. I'll have Leo update you on tomorrow's schedule. He ends the call before I can respond. I watch the police process the 2 men, watch them loaded into separate cruisers, watch the gray Honda get towed. Other parents arriving for school pickup glance at the commotion with mild curiosity before returning to their phones and conversations. None of them realize how close danger came to their children's playground. But I realize it. I documented it. I prevented it. For the first time in 2 years, I feel like I'm doing something that matters beyond survival. The pattern establishes itself over the next week. Sophia's ballet class on Tuesday afternoon. I position myself in a cafe across from the studio, watching through windows. Thursday piano lesson. I'm in the building's lobby, laptop open, apparently working while actually monitoring foot traffic. Saturday visit to her grandmother in Oak Park. I take the same train, 3 cars back, observing platforms and fellow passengers. I'm getting better at reading her world. Understanding the rhythms, the people who belong and the ones who don't. Leo feeds me information, names of approved drivers, photos of Sophia's regular teachers, updates on known Volkov associates. I'm building a database in my mind, cross-referencing faces and patterns against threat assessments. It's crime scene work applied to living subjects. Document everything, miss nothing, trust the details to tell the story. On day 8, Sophia approaches me directly. I'm at the park again, our original meeting place, where this all started. She's here with a different nanny, younger than the previous one, alert in ways the first woman wasn't. Sophia plays on the climbing structure while I review photos on my laptop nearby. Small footsteps approach. I look up to find Sophia standing 3 feet away, studying me with the intense curiosity only children possess. You're the lady from before, she says in Spanish, then switches to English. The one who told Papa about the bad men. Violet. I introduce myself, closing my laptop. And yes, that was me. Why are you always around? No accusation in the question, just genuine interest. I see you at school sometimes.
At ballet. You were on the train Saturday. Smart kid. Observant like her father. I'm helping make sure you're safe, I say honestly. Children deserve truth when possible. Your papa asked me to keep an eye out for anything unusual. Sophia processes this, her dark eyes, so like Augustine's, studying my wheelchair with unfiltered interest. Does it hurt? Being in the chair? Sometimes. But mostly it's just different from walking. I can't do some things I used to do, but I learned to do other things instead. Like what? Like noticing details. When you're sitting down all the time, you see things from angles other people miss. You pay attention differently. I gesture to the playground. Like right now, I can see that the third swing has a loose chain. And that man over there dropped his wallet when he sat down, but he doesn't realize it yet. And your nanny is watching us but pretending not to, probably wondering if she should interrupt this conversation. Sophia giggles. You're like a spy. Sort of. But a spy who helps instead of hides. Can I see your camera? She points to the equipment beside my chair. I hand it over carefully, showing her how to look through the viewfinder. See that tree? Try zooming in on the bird's nest in the upper branches. She adjusts the zoom with careful fingers, gasping when the nest comes into focus. There are babies. 3 of them. Good eye. Most people don't notice that nest because they are looking at eye level instead of up. Sophia takes several more photos, the fountain, clouds, a dog running past, with increasing confidence. When she returns the camera, her smile is unguarded and warm. I like you, she announces with childlike directness. You don't treat me like I'm stupid or made of glass. You're clearly neither. I say the photo she took. These are good shots. You have an eye for composition. Really? The validation makes her practically glow. Really? Your father must be very proud of you. Something shifts in her expression. Papa worries a lot. About me. About bad things happening. Sometimes I think he forgets I'm not a baby anymore. He loves you. That's what parents do when they love someone, they worry. Do your parents worry about you? The question lands unexpectedly. My mother died when I was young. My father. I pause, choosing words carefully. He's not in my life anymore. But when my mother was alive, yes, she worried about me constantly. I'm sorry she died. Sophia's empathy is genuine, uncomplicated by adult self-consciousness. It must be lonely without parents. Sometimes. But you find family in other places. Friends. People who care about you. The nanny approaches, clearly uncomfortable with how long this conversation has extended. Sophia, we should let Miss Lopez, I supply. Violet Lopez. We should let Miss Lopez work. The nanny's voice is gentle but firm. Sophia waves goodbye as she's guided back toward the playground. But she looks back twice, offering shy smiles that make my chest tight with unfamiliar emotion. I'm getting attached. To the job, yes, but more dangerously, to the little girl at the center of it. That night, Augustine calls. Sophia told me she met you today. She's quite taken with you. She's a sweet kid. Smart. Observant. Like her father. There's dry amusement in his voice. I wouldn't know. I haven't spent much time observing you. That can be remedied. Dinner tomorrow night. My home. 7 p.m. Leo will send a car. It's not really a question. Is this professional or personal? Does it matter? Before I can answer, he continues, Sophia asked if you could come. She wants to show you her photography. Apparently you inspired her. The manipulation is obvious but effective. I'll be there. Good. Satisfaction in the word. Dress comfortably. It's just family. The line goes dead. I stare at my phone, wondering when exactly I stopped being an independent contractor and started being someone who accepts dinner invitations from dangerous men because their daughters ask nicely. The car that arrives is understated, a dark sedan with a driver who introduces himself as Carlos. He helps me transfer from my wheelchair to the back seat with practiced efficiency, folding the chair and storing it in the trunk without being asked. Mr. Muller's residence is about 30 minutes, Carlos says as we pull into traffic. Let me know if you need anything during the drive. The house isn't in Gold Coast where Augustine's penthouse sits. It's in Kenilworth, north of the city, where estates sprawl across acreage most Chicagoans only see in magazines. The property is gated,
Security subtle but present in cameras and discrete sensors. The house itself is modern prairie style, Frank Lloyd Wright influence, all horizontal lines and natural materials that blend with the landscape. Carlos helps me into my wheelchair at the entrance. Before I can knock, the door opens. Sophia stands there in casual clothes, jeans and a sweater with a butterfly embroidered on the chest. Her face lights up. You came. Papa said you would, but I wasn't sure because sometimes adults say things and then don't do them. But you're here. I promised, didn't I? I roll into the entrance, taking in the interior. High ceilings, exposed wood beams, stone fireplace dominating a living area that flows into an open kitchen. It's beautiful and somehow still comfortable, designed for actual living rather than impressing visitors. Come see my room. I want to show you the photos I took with my tablet. Sophia bounces on her toes with barely contained excitement. After dinner, Carino. Augustine's voice carries from the kitchen. He emerges wearing dark jeans and a charcoal Henley, sleeves pushed to his elbows. It's the most casual I've seen him, and the effect is disarming. He looks younger, more accessible, though no less commanding. Miss Lopez just arrived. Let her breathe. It's Violet, I correct. Miss Lopez makes me feel like a substitute teacher. Violet, then. He tests the name, the same way he did when we first met. Would you like wine? Water? I'm making pasta, nothing fancy, just something Sophia actually eats without negotiation. Water is fine. I follow them into the kitchen, noting the accessibility, counters at varied heights, open space for maneuvering. Someone designed this with wheelchairs in mind, though I doubt Augustine knew I'd be here when the house was built. Sophia chatters while her father cooks, telling me about school and ballet and her best friend Lucia who's moving to California next month. I listen, offering appropriate responses while watching Augustine work. He moves with the same economical grace he applies to everything, chopping garlic and tomatoes with surprising skill. You cook. The question emerges before I can stop it. I find it meditative. He doesn't look up from the cutting board. And I learned early that if I wanted Sophia to eat actual food instead of chicken nuggets every night, I needed to make things she'd enjoy. Where's her mother? The words are out before I realize how invasive the question is. Augustine's hands still fractionally. She died. 3 years ago. Cancer. I'm sorry. The inadequacy of the words makes me wince. So am I. He resumes chopping, the knife moving with precise rhythm. Maria was, he pauses, choosing words carefully. She was the best parts of my life. Sophia has her eyes. Her laugh. Her capacity for joy despite circumstances that should make joy impossible. Sophia has moved to the living room, distracted by something on her tablet, giving us the illusion of privacy. It must be hard, I say quietly, raising her alone. Especially given I catch myself. My work. Augustine meets my gaze directly. Yes. It's complicated. Maria knew what I was before we married. Knew the risks. But she believed I could be better than my family's legacy. Believed I could build something legitimate alongside the necessary ugliness. And have you? I'm trying. He adds pasta to boiling water, the steam rising between us. The import-export business is real. Legitimate trade relationships, legal contracts. But it operates adjacent to other interests that are less legal. I'm not going to lie to you, Violet. I'm not a good man. But I'm trying to be a good father. The honesty is unexpected and disarming. Most people in his position would maintain the facade, keep the separation absolute between legitimate and criminal operations. Why tell me this? Because you're in my home. Around my daughter. You deserve to know what you're working for. He turns to face me fully. And because I think you've already guessed most of it anyway. Former crime scene photographer, 6 years documenting organized crime casualties. You know what markers to look for. He's right. I've seen enough mob violence to recognize the patterns. The professional security. The surveillance threats. The way he talks about necessary ugliness like it's as routine as grocery shopping. I won't ask you to compromise your ethics, Augustine continues. Won't ask you to participate in anything illegal. Your job is protecting Sophia through observation. That's all. But you should know the full context of what you're protecting her from. The Volkovs want to expand their territory, I say slowly, piecing together implications. And you're in their way. More accurately, I'm in their way and unwilling to move.
He plates pasta with careful attention. They've been pushing south from their traditional areas, trying to claim ports and distribution channels that have belonged to other families for decades. It's creating tension across multiple organizations. And Sofia is leverage. She's the most effective leverage they could find. His jaw tightens. Hurt me directly and they risk open war with my organization. Hurt my daughter and they break me without touching me. It's tactical and personal and exactly the kind of escalation that makes this business so dangerous. Sofia calls from the living room. Papa, is dinner ready? I'm starving. The tension breaks. Augustin carries plates to the dining table, also designed with accessibility in mind, I notice. The meal is simple but excellent, pasta with tomato sauce and fresh basil, salad, bread that's still warm. We eat like a family. Sofia dominates conversation, telling elaborate stories about school drama and playground politics. Augustin listens with patient attention, asking questions that prove he's genuinely invested in the minutiae of his daughter's life. I watch them interact and see the love underlying every gesture. The way he cuts her bread without being asked. The way she touches his arm when making a point, seeking physical connection. The inside jokes and shared references that come from years of being each other's primary person. This isn't a monster. This is a father who happens to operate in a world that requires monstrous things. After dinner, Sofia drags me to her room. It's exactly what a 7-year-old's room should be, organized chaos of stuffed animals, books, art supplies. But there's also a mounted telescope by the window and a bulletin board covered in nature photographs. These are mine. She points to the photos with pride. Papa got me a real camera for my birthday. Not just a tablet, but an actual camera with lenses and everything. The photographs are surprisingly good. A butterfly on a flower, captured mid-wing flutter. The Chicago skyline at sunset, the composition instinctively balanced. A candid shot of Augustin laughing at something off-camera, his guard completely down. These are really good, Sofia. You have talent. Papa says I have to practice. That talent isn't enough without work. She pulls out a notebook filled with sketches. I draw too. Want to see? I spend 30 minutes in her room, looking at artwork and photographs, listening to her explain her creative process with the seriousness of a much older artist. She's brilliant and funny and utterly unaware of her own charm. When Augustin appears in the doorway, Sofia is demonstrating her telescope, showing me how to find Jupiter in the night sky. It's almost 8:30, Carino. Time for bed. But Violet just got here. The protest is automatic but not particularly committed. Violet will come back. Augustin's eyes find mine. Won't you? It's a question wrapped in assumption. If Sofia wants me to. I do. Sofia hugs me impulsively, her small arms wrapping around my shoulders. You're my friend now. Friends visit each other. Something cracks wider in my chest. Then I'll visit. After Sofia's reluctant retreat to her bathroom for teeth brushing, Augustin walks me to the entrance. Carlos is already waiting with the car, my wheelchair visible in the open trunk. Thank you, Augustin says quietly, for being genuine with her. She's had enough people in her life who treat her like a porcelain doll or a meal ticket. You treated her like a person. She is a person. A pretty exceptional one. She is. Pride and fear war in his expression. Which is why I need to keep her safe. Why I need you to keep helping me see the threats I'm too close to notice. I'm just taking pictures and reporting patterns. You're doing more than that. He steps closer, his voice dropping. You're giving me peace of mind. For the first time since Maria died, I'm not carrying all the weight alone. You're helping me protect the only thing in this world that matters. The vulnerability in his admission makes breathing difficult. This isn't the cold strategist from our first meeting. This is a father terrified of failing the one person he loves most. I'll keep watching, I promise. Keep documenting. Keep you ahead of whatever they are planning. I know you will. His hand rises like he might touch my face, then drops. Professional boundaries reasserting themselves. Carlos will take you home. Tomorrow, Sofia has piano at 3. Leo will send you the address. I nod, transferring to the car with Carlos's assistance. As we pull away from the house, I look back to see Augustin silhouetted in the doorway, watching until we're out of sight. I'm not just working for him anymore. I'm invested in his family, in Sofia's safety, in the strange domestic peace I witnessed tonight. That should terrify me.
Instead, it feels like purpose I haven't had since the accident destroyed my old life. The change happens on Thursday. I'm positioned outside Sophia's piano lesson, laptop open in a cafe across the street, monitoring the entrance to the music academy. The lesson runs from 3 to 4 p.m., giving me an hour to observe patterns. At 3:42, a black motorcycle pulls up 2 blocks down. The rider keeps the engine running, helmet on, just sitting astride the bike with apparent casual purpose. Motorcycles aren't unusual in Chicago, but this one triggers something in my pattern recognition. The rider's positioned where they can see the academy entrance but aren't obviously watching it. The bike is positioned for quick departure, and the rider has checked their watch 3 times in 5 minutes. I document it. Photos capturing the bike, the plate number, the rider's posture. Send them to Leo with a message, possible surveillance. Black motorcycle. 2 blocks south of Piano Academy. Rider waiting but not dismounting. Leo's response, copy. Monitoring. 10 minutes pass. The rider doesn't move except to check their watch again. At 3:58, 2 minutes before Sophia's lesson ends, a white van pulls up directly in front of the academy. Commercial vehicle, no visible company markings. 2 men exit from the front, moving toward the entrance with purpose that makes my blood run cold. This isn't surveillance. This is action. I'm calling Leo before conscious thought catches up. White van, unmarked, directly in front of academy. 2 men entering building. This is happening now. Stay on the line. Don't approach. Leo's voice is clipped, efficient. I hear him issuing orders in rapid Spanish to someone else. Emergency protocols activated. Miguel is inside with Sofia. He's been alerted. Carlos is en route, 30 seconds out. Through my camera lens, I watch the 2 men enter the academy. They are not running, not drawing weapons, just walking with determined purpose. Professional. Practiced. 20 seconds later they emerge. Empty-handed. Miguel appears in the doorway behind them, Sofia held securely against his side. His other hand is inside his jacket, weapon ready but not displayed. The 2 men see him, see Sofia protected, and make immediate decision. They retreat to the white van at a walk that barely conceals flight. The black motorcycle revs, pulling away from the curb with the van following. Carlos's SUV screeches to a stop in front of the academy. Miguel and Sofia disappear inside its armored safety. The vehicle pulls away with speed that suggests tactical training. They are secure. Leo's voice comes through my phone. Good catch, Violet. 2 minutes more and they'd have had her. My hands are shaking so badly I nearly dropped the camera. They were going to take her. Right there, in the middle of the afternoon, from a piano lesson. Desperation makes people take risks they'd normally avoid. The Volkovs are losing ground. They needed something dramatic. A pause. You stopped it. Again. By seeing what we would have missed. The phone goes dead. I sit in the cafe, staring at my camera, at the photos documenting how close Sofia came to being taken. 2 minutes. Maybe less. If I hadn't noticed the motorcycle. If I hadn't trusted my instinct. If I'd looked away for 30 seconds at the wrong moment. I'm shaking so hard a barista approaches, asking if I'm okay. I nod automatically, lying through my teeth. 30 minutes later, a car arrives. Not Carlos. Augustin himself, driving a dark sedan I haven't seen before. He enters the cafe, spots me immediately, and crosses the space with controlled urgency. His face is carved from stone, but his eyes betray the fear he's working to contain. Come with me. Not a request. I don't argue. Don't ask questions. Just transfer to the car with his assistance, my wheelchair folded and stored in the trunk. He drives in silence for 10 minutes, hands tight on the wheel, jaw set. We're heading north, away from the city, toward Kenilworth. Is Sofia safe? She's at the house with Miguel and 4 additional security personnel. Leo's conducting a full tactical review of all her locations. His voice is desert dry. You saved her life today. If you hadn't flagged that motorcycle, hadn't called immediately, they'd have taken her before Miguel could respond. I just noticed a pattern. You did exactly what I hired you to do. He glances at me briefly, something fierce in his expression. And you're now a confirmed threat to the Volkovs. They'll have you on their radar. Which means you're in danger. The words take a moment to penetrate. Wait, what? You've disrupted 2 of their operations against Sofia. They are not stupid, Violet. They'll investigate, identify you, determine you're an asset to me.
He turns onto a private drive.
Which makes you a liability to them. You're saying they'll come after me. I'm saying they already are.
He stops the car in front of his house. Which is why you're staying here. In the guest house.
Under protection. Until we eliminate this threat.
I have an apartment.
A life.
I can't just.
Your apartment has standard locks and no security system. Your building has 4 exits and limited surveillance. You'd be dead in 3 days.
He turns to face me fully. I'm not asking, Violet.
I'm telling you. You're under my protection now. It's not negotiable. The authority in his voice should make me angry.
Instead, I just feel tired. And scared.
And strangely relieved that someone else is making decisions I don't have the energy to fight.
For how long?
Until it's safe. Or until the Volkovs are no longer a threat.
His jaw tightens.
Whichever comes first. The guest house is attached to the main residence by a covered walkway. It's fully accessible, wider doors, roll-in shower, adjustable counters. Someone converted it with wheelchair users in mind, though I can't imagine when or why. Maria's mother, Augustine explains, seeing my confusion. She had misused a wheelchair the last 3 years of her life. We built this so she could maintain independence while still being close to Sophia. The space is beautiful and functional. Bedroom, bathroom, small kitchenette, living area with windows overlooking gardens that are settling into winter sleep.
Your things will be collected from your apartment tomorrow.
Whatever you need, make a list. Augustine stands in the doorway, not entering my new space. Maintaining boundaries even while establishing control. Sophia wants to have dinner with you tonight.
If you're up for it. I'm up for it. He nods once. 6 p.m. Main house. Someone will come get you.
Then he's gone, leaving me alone in luxurious captivity with the understanding that my life just narrowed from limited independence to protective custody.
I should be angry. Should be fighting this. Should be insisting on my autonomy. But all I can think about is Sophia's face when those men walked into the academy.
The 2 minutes between observation and action.
How close we came to disaster. Augustine's right. I'm a threat to the Volkovs now.
And threats get eliminated with professional efficiency. At least here, surrounded by security and stone walls, I might survive long enough to see this through.
My phone buzzes.
Text from an unknown number. We know who you are. Back off or learn why curiosity kills. I stare at the message, ice crystallizing in my veins.
They are not just aware of me.
They are threatening me directly. I forward the message to Leo, hands still shaking. His response comes immediately.
Don't reply. Don't engage. You're safe where you are. Safe.
The word feels hollow when men are sending death threats to my phone. I look out the window at Augustine's house, at the warm light in Sophia's bedroom window where she's probably doing homework or drawing or looking at stars through her telescope.
I didn't ask for this.
Didn't sign up for death threats and protective custody and entanglement with organized crime. But I did choose to warn a stranger about a bomb.
Did choose to take the job. Did choose to notice patterns others miss. And now I'm living with the consequences.
The sun sets over the estate, security lights activating automatically, cameras tracking movement with silent vigilance. Somewhere in Chicago, the Volkovs are planning their next move. And here, in a guest house designed for someone else's dying mother, I'm becoming something I never imagined.
A target. An asset. A threat.
And somehow, impossibly, part of Augustine Muller's family. 3 weeks in the guest house teaches me that protection and imprisonment exist on a spectrum with blurry boundaries. I have freedom within the estate's 10 acres, gardens, greenhouse, the small lake where Sophia feeds ducks every Saturday morning. But beyond the gates, the world narrows to supervised excursions with security details that make grocery shopping feel like tactical operations. My apartment in the city sits empty, rent paid by Augustine's organization, my belongings packed and delivered within 48 hours of my arrival.
Everything I owned fit into 12 boxes.
The evidence of a life reduced to manageable proportions. But something strange happens in the spaces between surveillance and safety. I stop feeling like a contractor and start feeling like something else entirely.
It starts small.
Sophia knocking on my door at 7 a.m., asking if I want to see the frost patterns on the greenhouse windows. Augustine bringing me coffee without being asked, remembering exactly how I take it, 2 sugars, splash of cream. Dinner becoming a routine rather than an invitation, the 3 of us falling into conversational rhythms that feel practiced despite being new. I'm working from the guest house most days, laptop balanced on my knees, reviewing surveillance footage from Sophia's various locations. Leo provides daily updates on Volkov movements they've pulled back since the Piano Academy incident, regrouping, reassessing. But quiet doesn't mean gone. Just calculating. The text messages continue sporadically. Never from the same number twice. The cripple thinks she's clever. Wheels won't help you roll away from what's coming. We know where you sleep, Paralytica. I forward each one to Leo without reading them fully. Let the words glance off instead of penetrate. But they accumulate like small cuts, death by 1,000 threatened deaths. On day 23, Augustin finds me in the greenhouse. I'm photographing the orchids, beautiful, complicated flowers that require precise conditions to thrive. Like Sophia in her dangerous world. You're avoiding me. He doesn't phrase it as a question. I lower my camera. I'm working. Documenting. Doing the job you hired me for. The job doesn't require you to eat meals alone in the guest house. Doesn't require you to decline Sophia's dinner invitations 3 nights running. He crouches to my eye level, his tailored slacks creasing. The casual intimacy of the gesture makes breathing difficult. What's wrong? Everything. Nothing. The fact that I'm falling into patterns that feel like family when I'm just an employee. The fact that Sophia looks at me like I matter, like I'm permanent, when this is temporary by definition. The fact that every morning I wake up and the first thing I feel is relief that I'm here, in this house, part of this broken beautiful dynamic. I'm getting too comfortable. The admission comes out quieter than intended. This isn't my home. Sophia isn't my daughter. You're not. I catch myself before finishing the sentence. I'm not what? His dark eyes hold mine with uncomfortable intensity. You're not mine to care about this much. The words taste like truth and regret. I'm supposed to be observing, protecting, maintaining professional distance. Instead, I'm eating family dinners and taking Sophia to feed ducks and having conversations with you at midnight about everything except the job. Those late-night conversations have become routine. Me in the guest house, unable to sleep, watching security monitors on my laptop. Him appearing at my door with wine and exhaustion, sitting in the chair across from mine, talking about Sophia, Maria, the impossible balance of loving someone while living in violence. Professional distance. Augustin tests the phrase like it's foreign. Is that what you want? It's what's safe. Safe. He laughs, sharp and humorless. Violet, you receive death threats daily. You live in protective custody because men want you dead for protecting my daughter. There's nothing safe about any of this. You know what I mean. I know exactly what you mean. He stands, paces 3 steps, returns. You're afraid of attachment. Afraid that if you let yourself care about us, it will hurt more when this ends. When the threat is resolved and you don't need protection anymore. When you're free to leave. The accuracy makes my chest tight. Wouldn't it? Probably. He crouches again, closer this time. But I stopped thinking about you as an employee weeks ago. You're not a contractor who happens to live here. You're part of Sophia's life. Part of my life. The question isn't whether attachment is safe. The question is whether it's worth the risk. Is it? Ask me again in 30 years and I'll tell you. His hand rises, fingertips tracing my jaw with devastating gentleness. You saved my daughter twice. You see threats I miss. You make Sophia laugh in ways I haven't heard since Maria died. And you make me feel less alone in this impossible situation I've created for all of us. Augustin. I'm not asking for anything you're not ready to give. His thumb brushes my lower lip. I'm just telling you that professional distance is a fiction we're both pretending to maintain. And I'm tired of pretending. He kisses me before I can formulate a response. Slow and careful, like he's giving me time to pull away. But I don't pull away. I lean into it, my hands finding his shoulders, anchoring myself against the intensity of the moment. He tastes like coffee and something darker, more complex. His hand cups the back of my neck, angling my face to deepen the kiss. It's not gentle anymore. It's hungry, desperate, months of tension finding expression in the space between restraint and surrender. When we break apart, both breathing harder than the temperature requires, his forehead rests against mine. This complicates everything, I whisper. Everything was already complicated. His voice is rough. This just makes it honest. A phone buzzes. His, not mine. He pulls back reluctantly, checking the screen. Whatever he reads makes his expression shift from intimate to tactical in seconds. What is it?
Leo.
There's been movement. Volkov soldiers spotted near Sofia's school. He stands, already moving toward the door. Stay here.
Lock the doors.
Don't open them for anyone except me or Leo. Wait. But he's gone, the greenhouse door closing behind him with decisive finality. I sit alone among the orchids, my lips still tingling from the kiss, my mind racing through implications I don't have context to understand. The Volkovs are moving again. And this time, the quiet feels less like patience and more like the breath before violence.
The attack comes at dawn. I wake to the sound of gunfire.
Not the sharp cracks from movies, but deeper, more visceral sounds that make the guest house windows rattle. My first confused thought is thunder, storm rolling in from the lake. Then my security training from the CPD kicks in. That's not thunder. That's automatic weapons fire.
Close.
Maybe at the front gate. I'm out of bed and into my wheelchair in seconds, muscle memory overriding panic.
My phone is already in my hand, calling Leo's number. No answer. I try Augustin. Straight to voicemail.
The gunfire intensifies. Multiple shooters, overlapping fire patterns. I hear shouting in Spanish and Russian, voices raised in combat communication.
The main house. Sofia is in the main house.
I'm moving before conscious thought catches up, wheeling toward the connecting walkway. The glass door is locked from my side. Security protocol. My hands shake as I unlock it, roll into the covered passage that connects guest house to main residence.
The lights are out. Emergency backup hasn't activated. Someone cut the power.
I navigate by moonlight filtering through glass panels above, my chair's wheels silent on polished concrete. The sounds of combat are clearer now, coming from the front of the property. Shouting, gunfire, the metallic sound of magazines being changed.
I reach the door to the main house. Also locked. But this one has a keypad.
Augustin gave me the code weeks ago. For emergencies, he said.
I punch in the 6 digits with trembling fingers.
The lock disengages with a soft click. The interior is dark except for the emergency lighting along the baseboards. Red LED strips that barely illuminate the floor. I move towards Sofia's room, taking the route I've memorized from dozens of dinners and evening visits.
Her door is ajar. That's wrong.
Augustin always closes it completely, establishing boundaries between her sleep space and the rest of the house. I push it open slowly, chair rolling silent on thick carpet. Empty. Her bed is rumpled, sheets thrown back, stuffed animals scattered. Signs of hasty departure, not organized evacuation. Sofia? I keep my voice low, barely above whisper. Sofia, baby, it's Violet. Where are you?
No response.
The closet door is cracked. I wheel closer, pulse hammering against my ribs. Inside, crouched behind hanging dresses and discarded shoes, Sofia stares at me with eyes so wide the whites show all around. Her hands press against her mouth, silencing sounds I can't hear but can imagine. Tears stream down her face. It's okay. I reach for her, opening my arms.
It's me.
You're safe. She launches herself at me, wrapping around my torso with desperate strength. Her whole body shakes with silent sobs. Where's your papa? Where's Miguel? They came in.
Her voice is muffled against my shoulder.
Men with guns. Papa told Miguel to take me to the safe room, but then there was shooting and Miguel said hide, just hide. So I ran here and I don't know where Papa is and I'm scared. Violet, I'm so scared.
I know, baby. I know.
My hands smooth her hair, my mind racing through options. The safe room is in the basement.
That's where we need to go.
But we'd have to cross the main living area, exposed, to reach the stairs. Gunfire erupts again, closer this time.
Inside the house. Glass shattering. Men shouting in Russian. They are inside.
I make a decision born from desperation and the absolute certainty that I will not let them take this child. Sofia, listen to me.
I pull back to look at her face.
We're going to my chair's storage compartment. Under the seat. There's space there because of how the frame is built. You're small enough to fit if you curl up tight.
But. No buts.
Get underneath, hold on to the frame bars, and don't make a sound no matter what happens. Understand? She nods, tears still streaming, but her jaw sets with determination that mirrors her father's.
She's terrified but not paralyzed by it.
I help her position herself under the wheelchair seat, in the space between the footrests and the main frame. It's not designed for this, but she's small and the chair is overbuilt for durability. She fits, barely, curled into a ball. I drape a blanket from her bed over my lap, letting it hang down to obscure her presence. It won't survive close inspection, but in dim lighting, with quick observation, it might pass. Stay absolutely still, I whisper. Pretend you're a statue. The quietest, stillest statue in the world. Her hand reaches up, squeezes mine once. Then she goes motionless. I turn the wheelchair and head toward the door. No plan beyond getting Sophia away from immediate danger. Maybe the staff wing. Maybe back to the guest house where I can lock us in, barricade the door, wait for help. I'm halfway across the living room when the lights come on. Emergency generator, probably. Or the attackers want visibility for whatever comes next. 2 men stand in the entrance from the main hallway. Both carrying weapons. Both wearing tactical gear that speaks of professional training. They see me and weapons rise, trained on center mass. Don't move. English with heavy Russian accent. Where is girl? What girl? I keep my voice steady despite my heart trying to punch through my ribs. I'm just trying to get out. I don't want trouble. Sophia Moller. Augustine's daughter. Where? How would I know? I'm just I catch myself before saying photographer. I'm just here for accessibility consulting. The house modifications. The lie is thin, obvious. But it buys seconds while they assess threat level. Check her. The first man gestures to his partner. The second man approaches, weapon lowered but ready. He circles behind my chair, examining the space underneath, the blanket on my lap. Sophia is motionless. Not even breathing that I can detect. 7 years old and playing statue while armed men hunt her. Nothing. The second man steps back. Just a cripple. The slur makes my jaw clench, but I keep my expression neutral. Afraid. Cooperative. Everything they expect from a disabled woman caught in violence. Where is Moller? The first man steps closer. Where did he take the girl? I don't know. I heard gunfire and hid. That's all. I let my hands shake on the wheels. Not difficult given the genuine terror flooding my system. Please, I just want to leave. I'm not part of this. He studies me with cold calculation. You are photographer. You work for Moller. We know who you are, Violet Lopez. The certainty in his voice makes my blood ice. They've done their homework. Know my name. My connection to Augustine. Probably know I identified their surveillance team at the Piano Academy. I take pictures for insurance claims. The lie sounds desperate even to me. I don't know anything about his business. Then you are useless. He raises his weapon. Dead weight. This is it. The moment I've been rolling toward since I noticed a red wire under a dashboard that wasn't mine. Since I warned a stranger about danger that became my own. Sophia is under my chair. If he shoots me, she's exposed. Discovered. Taken or killed. I can't let that happen. Wait. My voice cracks with manufactured panic. I can help you. I know where the safe room is. Where he take her. I can show you. The gun lowers fractionally. Show us. It's downstairs. Through the kitchen. But it's locked with biometric security. You'd need. I'm improvising, buying time, praying someone hears us. You'd need Augustine or someone authorized to open it. You have access. No, but I've seen the system. I could describe it. Maybe you could. The lie dies in my throat as voices erupt from another part of the house. Augustine's security team. Finally responding, pushing back against the intrusion. The 2 Russians exchange glances. Rapid conversation in their language, too fast for me to parse. Come. The first man grabs my wheelchair handles, pushing me forward. You show us safe room. Now. I'm rolled toward the kitchen, past Sophia's abandoned room, past the hallway where family photos line the walls. The man pushing my chair is rough, taking corners too fast, making the wheelchair tilt dangerously. Sophia stays silent underneath. A miracle of childhood discipline and trust. We're at the top of the basement stairs when Miguel appears from a side corridor. He sees me, sees the Russians, and his weapon is up and firing in one fluid motion. The first Russian goes down, shot twice in the chest. The second drops behind a counter, returning fire. Miguel takes cover behind a support column. And I'm caught in the middle, Sophia curled beneath my chair, gunfire erupting around us in a space that amplifies every sound into physical assault. Violet.
Miguel's voice cuts through the chaos. Get down. Cover your head. But I can't get down. Can't throw myself to the floor. My legs don't work that way.
I throw my weight forward instead, tipping the wheelchair onto its front wheels, creating a smaller profile. The blanket slides off, pooling on the floor.
Sophia is exposed.
Miguel sees her in the same instant the remaining Russian does. Everything happens in compressed time.
Miguel firing.
The Russian pivoting toward Sophia. My hands grabbing the fallen blanket, throwing it toward the Russian's face, a useless gesture born from desperation. Augustin appears from nowhere, momentum and fury incarnate. He tackles the Russian from the side, both men crashing into the breakfast bar. The weapon clatters across the floor.
They grapple with vicious efficiency.
No honor, no rules, just two men trying to kill each other with any means available. Augustin's forearm presses against the Russian's throat. The Russian's knee drives into Augustin's ribs. Miguel has clear shot but doesn't take it, too much risk of hitting Augustin.
The Russian's hand finds a kitchen knife from the block on the counter. The blade arcs toward Augustin's neck. I don't think. Just react.
My wheelchair is built from titanium. Light but incredibly strong. I propel myself forward with every ounce of strength in my arms, using momentum and mass, driving the footrests into the Russian's exposed knee.
The impact isn't much. I'm not heavy enough to cause real damage.
But it's enough to break his balance. The knife misses Augustin by inches. Miguel's gun cracks once, precise shot to the Russian's shoulder.
The man goes down.
Augustin is up immediately, weapon appearing from somewhere, trained on the fallen Russian.
Clear. Clear.
Miguel is already checking corners, scanning for additional threats. Front team reports 5 hostiles down, 2 retreating. Property secure. Augustin turns to Sophia, who's emerged from under my wheelchair, face streaked with tears but physically unhurt. He drops to his knees, pulling her against his chest with hands that shake despite his controlled expression. Carino, am I amor? I'm so sorry.
His voice breaks on the words. So sorry you had to see this. Had to hide.
I tried to get to you faster. Violet saved me. Sophia's words are muffled against his shoulder. She hid me and protected me, and she was so brave, Papa.
His eyes find mine over Sophia's head.
The emotion there is raw, unguarded, gratitude and fear and something deeper I don't have vocabulary for. I know she did. He stands, lifting Sophia with him. Miguel, take Sophia to the safe room. Full lockdown until we've swept every inch of this property. Come on, Paquina.
Miguel offers his hand.
Sophia takes it reluctantly, looking back at me. You're okay? I ask her, needing confirmation.
I'm okay.
Because of you. Then she's gone, guided away by Miguel's protective bulk. Augustin approaches my wheelchair, crouching to check me for injuries. His hands move over my arms, my shoulders, professional assessment overlaid with personal concern. Are you hurt?
No.
Scared out of my mind, but not hurt. You could have been killed.
His hands still on my shoulders.
Should have stayed in the guest house where it was safe.
Sophia was alone. Terrified.
I wasn't going to. The adrenaline is fading, leaving shakes I can't control. I couldn't leave her.
I know.
He pulls me forward, his forehead resting against mine.
I know.
And I will spend the rest of my life grateful that you didn't. Leo appears in the doorway, tactical gear and grim expression. Boss, we need to debrief.
And the police are en route.
Someone in the neighborhood called about the gunfire. Augustin nods, releasing me reluctantly. Get Violet to the safe room. Keep her and Sophia together until I've handled the authorities. Wait.
I grab his hand before he can leave. What happens now? They breached your home. Got past your security.
They are not going to stop. No, he agrees, voice gone cold and hard. They are not.
Which is why I'm ending this. Tonight.
Permanently. The promise in his tone makes something in my chest tighten with fear and certainty.
This isn't over. It's just beginning.
The safe room is everything I expected and nothing I imagined. Reinforced concrete walls, air filtration system, banks of monitors showing every angle of the property. But someone's also made it comfortable. Plush furniture, stocked refrigerator, games, and books for Sophia. She sits curled against me on the leather couch, my arm around her shoulders, both of us watching the monitors in numb silence. The estate is flooded with emergency lights. Police vehicles block the drive. EMTs tend to two of Augustine's security personnel who took non-critical injuries. Body bags being loaded into a coroner's van. 5 dead Russians. 0 dead security personnel. But the cost still feels devastating.
Violet.
Sophia's voice is small. Are the bad men all gone?
Yes, baby. They are gone. Will more come?
The question deserves honesty. I don't know. But your papa is making sure they can't hurt you.
He's very good at protecting the people he loves. He loves you too.
She says it with childlike certainty.
I can tell. He looks at you the way he used to look at Mama. The observation lands with unexpected force.
Sophia. It's okay. I like that he loves you. You make him smile again.
She tilts her head up to look at me. And I love you too.
Is that okay? My throat closes.
That's more than okay.
Good. She settles back against me. 'Cause you're my Violet.
And I'm keeping you. I press a kiss to the top of her head, unable to form words around the emotion clogging my chest. The safe room door opens 3 hours later. Augustine enters alone, exhaustion carved into every line of his face. His changed clothes, the ones from the fight, must have been too damaged. Now he wears fresh jeans and a black Henley, but nothing can disguise the bruises forming on his jaw and neck.
Sophia launches herself at him.
He catches her, holding her with the desperate intensity of someone who came too close to loss. The police.
I ask. Satisfied it was self-defense.
Home invasion, armed attackers, castle doctrine applies.
He keeps his voice flat, factual. The Volkovs sent a 9-man team.
Professional assault, intended to either capture Sophia or send a message if they failed.
They failed.
What about the 2 who retreated? Dead before they reached their extraction vehicle.
His expression doesn't change.
Leo's team was thorough. I should feel something about that. Horror, moral conflict. Instead, I just feel numb.
They came for Sophia.
They came into her home with weapons and intent to take or kill a 7-year-old child.
Whatever happened to them was earned.
What happens now?
I ask.
Augustine looks at me fully, and something in his expression makes my stomach tighten.
Now I end this. Permanently.
The Volkovs declared war by coming into my home. I'm taking it to them.
When? Tomorrow night. We've identified their headquarters.
Main leadership, operational center, everything. I'm going in with 20 men, taking out everyone above soldier rank, and making it clear that touching my family means extinction.
He says it like he's discussing a business merger. Clinical.
Inevitable. That's a massacre. That's consequence.
No apology in his voice. They tried to take my daughter.
Threatened the woman. He stops himself. They threatened everything that matters. I won't let them have another opportunity. Sophia has fallen asleep against his chest, exhausted from fear and adrenaline crash. He carries her to one of the safe room's bedrooms, laying her down with infinite gentleness. When he returns, I'm staring at the monitors, watching dawn break over property that will never feel completely safe again.
You don't have to stay.
He says it quietly, giving me the out.
This is going to get worse before it ends. I can arrange for you to leave Chicago.
New identity, financial support, whatever you need to start over somewhere they'll never find you. And Sophia?
Will understand. She's young.
She'll adapt.
And you? He's silent for a long moment. Will miss you every day for the rest of my life.
But I'd rather miss you and know you're safe than keep you here and watch them hurt you to get to me.
I turn my wheelchair to face him directly.
I'm not leaving. Violet. I'm not leaving, I repeat with more force. I didn't survive a drunk driver taking my legs to let Russian mobsters scare me away from people I care about. Sophia needs me. And you, I take a breath. You need someone who sees you as more than the violence you're capable of. I'm about to go commit violence that would horrify you.
I know. And I'm still not leaving. I meet his dark eyes.
I was a crime scene photographer for 6 years, Augustine.
I documented what men like you do to each other.
I'm not naive about the realities. But I also know that you're a father who loves his daughter desperately. A man who's been protecting me when you could have let me face the consequences alone. Whatever else you are, you're also someone worth staying for. He crosses the distance between us,
crouching so we're eye level. You're extraordinary. You know that. I'm practical. And I'm invested. I touch his face, tracing the bruise forming on his jaw. So tomorrow night, when you go to war, you come back. Because Sophia and I will be waiting. I can't promise. Then make it a goal. Something to survive for. My hand slides to cup his neck. You're not allowed to die on us, Augustin Moller. We're just starting to get comfortable with you. He kisses me, and it tastes like promises written in blood and hope built on violence. When we break apart, both breathing harder, his forehead rests against mine. I love you. The words are rough, unpracticed. In case tomorrow goes wrong, I need you to know that. I love you, Violet Lopez. Your strength and your courage and the way you love my daughter like she's yours. She is mine. The certainty in my voice surprises me. And you're mine. And tomorrow you're coming home so we can figure out what that means. We spend the rest of the dawn in the safe room, Sophia sleeping in the bedroom while Augustin and I plan contingencies and futures in equal measure. By the time the sun fully rises, painting the property in gold light that feels unearned after the darkness, I understand exactly what I committed to. A life built on dangerous foundations. A family forged in violence and protected by the same. A love that exists despite every rational reason it shouldn't. But when Sophia emerges from the bedroom, sleepy and safe and reaching for both of us with equal trust, I know I've made the only choice I could live with. Some families are chosen. Some are thrown together by circumstance. Ours is both. And I will protect it with everything I have. The warehouse district on the south side looks like urban decay, abandoned factories, broken windows, graffiti covering every surface. Most people avoid this area after dark, which makes it perfect for criminal enterprises that need privacy. I shouldn't be here. Augustin explicitly ordered me to stay at the estate with Sophia, safe behind multiple security layers. But Leo needs someone monitoring from the command vehicle, coordinating communications while he's with Augustin inside the building. And I'm the best observer he has. So, I'm in an armored van 3 blocks from the target, surrounded by screens showing live feeds from helmet cameras, thermal imaging, and stationary cameras Leo's team positioned earlier. 20 men move through the darkness with military precision. Augustin leads one team. Leo commands the second. They've divided the building into zones, mapping every entrance and known occupant location. This is a decapitation strike. Remove Volkov leadership and the organization collapses. It's brutal, efficient, and probably the only way to ensure Sophia's safety permanently. Alpha team in position. Augustin's voice through the comms is steady. Bravo team ready. Leo confirms. Charlie team holding perimeter. A third voice, Marco, one of Augustin's senior soldiers. I watch the screens, tracking each team's position against the building schematic. The Volkovs have 8 people inside according to the latest intelligence. 3 are high-ranking, decision-makers who authorized the attack on Augustin's home. The rest are soldiers and support staff. On my count, Augustin says. 3, 2, 1, execute. They breach simultaneously from 3 directions. The helmet cameras show rapid movement through corridors, doors kicked open, weapons trained with professional calm. Gunfire erupts. Not the extended firefights from movies, but short brutal exchanges. A muzzle flash, someone going down, teams advancing through the space they've just cleared. Alpha team, 2 hostiles down, advancing to target room. Bravo encountering resistance, eastern corridor, engaging. Charlie perimeter secure, no runners. I track it all, watching thermal signatures move and fall, listening to the controlled communications that belie the violence happening in real time. My job is to watch for complications, additional hostiles appearing, escape routes being used, anything that might compromise the operation. That's when I see it. On the thermal imaging of the building's west side, a signature that doesn't match any of Augustin's teams. Moving from the 3rd floor toward a window. Augustin, you have a runner. West side, 3rd floor, moving toward window. Looks like he's trying to use the fire escape. Charlie team, intercept west fire escape. Augustin's response is immediate. I watch as Marco's team repositions, covering the fire escape from ground level. The thermal signature at the window pauses, recognizing the trap, then retreats back into the building. Target redirecting, heading north through 3rd floor corridor. Copy that. Bravo team, you're about to have company from above. Leo's response is clipped. Ready for him. The thermal signature descends stairs, moving fast but not panicking. Professional extraction. This is someone trained for this scenario. He emerges into the second-floor corridor where Leo's team is positioned. For a moment, the cameras show a standoff, weapons on both sides, recognition that firing means mutual casualties. Then the man drops his weapon, hands rising. Target surrendering, Leo reports. Securing him now. The operation wraps up in another 10 minutes. Final count: 7 Volkov soldiers dead or wounded, 1 captured. No casualties on Augustin's side, though 2 men took minor injuries. The captured man is Dmitry Volkov himself, nephew of the organization's founder, effectively second in command. His capture is more valuable than a dozen dead soldiers. They bring him to the command van, hands zip-tied, blood running from a cut above his eye. He's young, maybe 30, with the expensive haircut and clothes of someone who thinks criminal enterprise is glamorous. Augustin arrives moments later, still wearing tactical gear, controlled fury evident in every movement. Mr. Volkov. His voice is glacier cold. We need to discuss your family's future. Dmitry spits blood, trying for defiance despite the fear in his eyes. Go to hell, Mullah. Already there. Have been for years. You sent 9 men to my home. Terrorized my daughter. Threatened someone I love. Augustin crouches to the captured man's eye level. Now you're going to tell me everything about your organization's structure, accounts, operations. And in exchange, I'll let you live. I tell you nothing. Then you die here. Tonight. And I systematically dismantle everyone in your organization with blood connections to the Volkov name. Augustin's tone doesn't change. Or you give me what I need to neutralize your family's operations, and you get to disappear. New identity, money to relocate, and the knowledge that the people you care about survive. Dimitri's defiance wavers. You're bluffing. Look at my face and tell me I'm bluffing. Augustin leans closer. You came after my child. There is nothing I won't do to ensure that never happens again. Nothing. I watch from inside the van as Dimitri's resistance crumbles. He talks for 30 minutes, providing information about accounts, properties, key personnel. Leo records everything on multiple devices. When it's done, Augustin keeps his word. Marco, take him to the airport. Put him on a plane to Prague. He doesn't come back to Chicago or contact anyone in the organization. If he does, the deal is void. Marco hauls Dimitri to his feet, guiding him toward another vehicle. Augustin finally turns to me, exhaustion and something darker evident in his expression. It's done. The leadership is gone. Their operations are exposed. What's left will fracture into pieces too small to threaten us. You're sure? As sure as I can be. He climbs into the van, sitting heavily in the seat beside me. The Volkov family is finished in Chicago. Sophia is safe. You're safe. We can finally breathe. I want to believe him. Want to trust that violence has purchased safety. But I've seen too much to believe any peace is permanent. What's the cost? I ask quietly. Tonight. What did you have to do? What was necessary? He doesn't elaborate. Doesn't offer details I don't need and probably couldn't handle. I protected my family. That's all that matters. His family. Which apparently includes me now. Take me home, I say. Sophia's probably terrified. And I need to see her. Need to confirm this is real. The drive back to Kenilworth feels longer than it is. Augustin's hand finds mine in the darkness of the van, fingers interlacing with surprising gentleness for someone who just orchestrated a massacre. We arrive to find every light in the house burning. Miguel stands in the doorway, Sophia wrapped in a blanket beside him. When she sees her father emerging from the van, uninjured, alive, she breaks free and runs. Augustin catches her mid-leap, holding her against his chest with hands that shake despite his controlled expression. It's over, Carino. You're safe now. We're all safe. Promise. Her voice is muffled against his shoulder. Promise. She looks at me over his shoulder. Violet too. Especially Violet. Augustin's eyes find mine. No one's going to hurt her. I made sure of it. Miguel helps me from the van, my wheelchair unfolded and waiting. We move inside as a unit, Augustin carrying Sophia, Miguel flanking us, me rolling beside them. The house still bears signs of this morning's attack. Bullet holes in walls. Broken furniture. Blood stains on the floor that cleaning crews will address tomorrow. But it's still standing. Still home. We end up in Sophia's room. She refuses to let either of us leave, so we settle in. Augustine in the chair beside her bed, me positioned where I can hold her hand. She falls asleep within minutes, exhausted from fear and relief and the emotional whiplash of the past 24 hours. She'll have nightmares, I say quietly. I know. We'll deal with them. Augustine's gaze hasn't left his daughter's face. Together. The word hangs between us, weighted with implication. What are we doing, Augustine? I need to ask it. Need to understand what this is beyond crisis and convenience. What is this between us? He looks at me finally, dark eyes holding mine in the dim light from Sophia's night light. Whatever you want it to be. I'm not going to pressure you or demand definitions. But I know what I want. What's that? You. Here. Part of our lives permanently. Not as an employee or contractor, but as family. As someone Sophia loves and I love and we build a future with. He pauses. That terrifies me more than anything the Volkovs could do. Because wanting it means risking losing it. And I don't know if I could survive losing you. The vulnerability in his admission cracks something open in my chest. I'm not going anywhere. I told you that. You said you'd stay until the threat was over. The threat is over now. You're free to leave. I'm free to stay too. I squeeze Sophia's sleeping hand gently. And that's what I'm choosing. To stay. To be part of this impossible family you've built. To figure out what comes next with both of you. Even knowing what I am? What I do. Especially knowing that. I meet his gaze directly. You're not a good man, Augustine Moller. You've done terrible things tonight. We'll probably do more terrible things in the future. But you're a good father. And you're good to me. And right now, that's enough. He stands, moving to my wheelchair, crouching so we're eye level. I will spend the rest of my life earning that faith. Just keep coming home. That's all I ask. Keep coming home to us. We stay in Sophia's room until dawn, watching her sleep, existing in the quiet after violence. When the sun finally rises, painting the room in soft gold, Sophia stirs. She sees both of us still there and smiles with pure relief. You stayed. We stayed, Augustine confirms. All of us. She looks between us with hope so naked it hurts. I glance at Augustine. He nods once, giving permission for something neither of us has said aloud until now. All of us, I agree. We're a family now. The three of us. If that's what you want. Sophia's smile could power the city. That's exactly what I want. She scrambles out of bed, wrapping herself around both of us in an embrace that's awkward and perfect. Augustine's arm comes around my shoulders, pulling me into the circle of their family with deliberate intent. This isn't how I imagine my life going. Former detective turned crime scene photographer turned paralyzed freelancer, ending up in the home of a mafia boss, becoming de facto mother to his daughter, building a family from violence and necessity. But as Sophia chatters about breakfast and Augustine's hand stays warm on my shoulder and dawn light fills the room with promise, I understand something fundamental. Family isn't about blood or conventional paths. It's about who shows up, who stays, who chooses you again and again despite every reason not to. And we've chosen each other. In all our broken, dangerous, complicated glory. We've chosen each other. 6 months later, I'm in Lincoln Park. Same bench where this all started, laptop open, reviewing photos from my morning. But I'm not documenting insurance fraud anymore. I'm working for the Moller Foundation, the legitimate charitable organization Augustine established using money from his less legitimate enterprises. My job is documenting the community programs we fund, creating portfolios that show impact and need for continued support. It's meaningful work. Real work. Using my skills for something beyond survival. Sophia appears on the path, released from school, Miguel trailing at a discreet distance. She's grown 3 inches, lost a tooth, gained confidence that transformed her from scared child to assured young girl. Violet. She runs to me, backpack bouncing. Look what I drew. I examine the sketch, a family portrait. Her, Augustine, and me. In her drawing, I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm standing beside them, arms around both, whole and complete. This is beautiful, baby. It's how I see you. She says it with childlike directness. Not the chair. Just you. My throat tightens. Thank you. Augustin arrives minutes later, coming straight from a meeting. He's in a suit, looking every inch the successful businessman. Only I know about the weapon holstered at his hip, the security detail following at distance, the violence he's still capable of when necessary. But when he sees us, his expression softens. He kisses Sophia's head, then mine, casual affection that's become routine. "How was your day?" he asks. "Productive. I finished the documentation for the youth center project." I show him photos on my laptop, kids playing basketball, art classes, tutoring sessions. "We're making a difference." "You're making a difference." His hand finds my shoulder. "I'm just funding it." We walk home together, Sophia chattering about school, me reviewing schedules on my phone, Augustin fielding business calls. We look like any other family heading home after a long day. Except we're not. We're built from trauma and violence, held together by choice and love and the absolute certainty that we'll protect each other against anything. That night, after Sophia's asleep and we're alone in the main house, Augustin produces a small box from his pocket. "I'm not good at romantic gestures," he starts. "And this isn't a traditional proposal. But..." He opens the box. Inside is a ring. Simple platinum band with a small diamond, elegant and understated. "You're already family," he continues. "Already part of our lives permanently. This is just making it official. Legal. Giving you the protections and rights that come with being my wife." That's very tactical of you. But I'm smiling through tears. I'm always tactical. He takes the ring from the box. "But I'm also desperately in love with you, Violet Lopez. You saved my daughter. Saved me. Made our broken family whole. I want to spend the rest of my life earning that gift." "You don't have to earn it. You just have to keep being exactly who you are. A criminal who commits violence to protect his family. A father who loves his daughter. A man who makes me feel valued. Someone who sees past my limitations to the person I still am." I hold out my left hand. "Yes. Absolutely yes." He slides the ring onto my finger with hands that shake despite his controlled expression. Then he kisses me, and it tastes like promises kept and futures built from ashes. When we break apart, both breathing harder, I see tears on his face. Augustin Moller, cold strategist and dangerous man, crying with relief and joy. "I love you," he whispers. "More than I thought I was capable of loving anyone after Maria died." "I know. I love you too." Sophia appears in the doorway, supposedly asleep but clearly eavesdropping. "Are you getting married?" "Yes," Augustin confirms, not embarrassed about the tears. "Is that okay with you?" "Yes." She launches herself at us, wrapping around both of us. "Yes, yes, yes. Can I be in the wedding? Can I wear a fancy dress? Can we have cake?" We laugh, the three of us tangled together on the couch, planning a future that shouldn't be possible but somehow is. 2 years ago, I was a crime scene photographer whose life ended in a car accident, who lost mobility and independence and purpose. Now I'm Violet Moller, wife to a dangerous man, mother to an extraordinary child, photographer documenting hope instead of violence. My legs still don't work. That hasn't changed. Won't change. But everything else has transformed in ways I couldn't have imagined when I first noticed surveillance in a park and chose to warn a stranger. I've been saved and became a savior. Been protected and became protector. Been broken and found wholeness in the most unexpected place. In a family built from violence and necessity. In a love forged through danger and choice. In a life that finally, impossibly, feels like it's mine. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hits the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.